it'll call you, it'll subset heading with common denominators. Common denominators. Let's just start with an example problem. Let's say you have 2/4 plus 1/4. All right? Just for fun. Now, I need you to write this down. Here is what you need to do. Anytime you add or subtract fractions, the very first step will always be the same. And that will be, you'll need to write them up and down. In other words, just like when you add big numbers or subtract big numbers, you write them one on top of the other. I need that same thing for these fractions. Now, there's a good number of you who won't do that because it's so easy that you don't have to, but you will get scolded repeatedly on that, and if I collect your homework and you don't do that, you'll get a bad grade on that. So, even though you could do this problem in your head, you're going to have to humor the teacher and write them up and down. Because what I've found is that people that skip that little step there start doing that with harder problems, and then it just works out poorly for everybody. There's a question here, Madison.
Can it be this round too?
No. See, here's the thing with the drawing the pictures. It's all well and good when they're really, really easy ones. Okay, but if I asked you to add together 13/75 plus 29/75, by the time you take something and cut it into 75 pieces, I mean, it's good. For this one, it's not so bad, and yes, you're going to get the right answer, blah, 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 but you got to be able to do it without the drawing the pictures at certain parts, okay? So that's where we're at here. Step number 2, children, is, and this, again, comes a little bit later on, but I'm going to have you write it down so we don't have to add it later. You have to do what we call make common denominators. Which simply, in layman's terms, means you have to make sure the denominators have to be the same. Now, for right now, because they're just kind of introducing this to you, the denominators here are both 4s, so you really don't have to do any work for that step. It's already done for you. And then the last step is a very simple one. Here's the deal. Well, let's just write it down. Your last step is you add, or if it was a subtraction problem, add or subtract the top numbers, comma, but keep the bottoms the same. Keep the numerators the same. Okay? And then I'll talk about that here. And here maybe we'll talk about what Madison said. We will draw the picture on this just to give you the example. Here's the deal. If you start off with 2/4, which is this 1/4 and 2/4, and you add one more fourth to it, what do you get for an answer? How much do I have at this point right here? Logan?
3/4.
3/4. Okay, a lot of people your age will add the top and the bottom and get 3/8. But that's not what happens here. When you add fractions together, the bottom, you're still talking about fourths, you just add the top numbers together. Okay, so 2/4 plus 1/4 isn't 3/8. You don't add both the top and the bottom, you just add the two tops and keep the bottom the same. And then just make sure that you circle your answer there. Question there, Alex? Oh, I thought you had your hand up. So if you follow these simple little rules, we will get along quite nicely. Here's the problem. 7/10 minus 5/10. Step number 1, Taylorizes to do what?
Right up and down.
Very good. So on your paper, you're going to write 7/10 minus 5/10. And then your answer to that is going to be, Caitlin,
2/10.
2/10. Now, how many people could have done this in their head? Congratulations, you'll still write the problem down. So when I collect and when I walk around and look at your homework assignment, I don't want to just see the 2/10. Okay, feel free to write, you don't have to write this part down on your paper, but you can write it, like go right and just write it up and down right off the bat. So you don't have to rewrite this, you just write it up and down right off the bat, and everybody's happy. Because in the real world, who is it most important to keep happy?
Yeah.
That's exactly it. How about this? Let's do a mixed number because it's all the same. What is 1 1/4 plus 1 2/4? Same thing is true. You need to change and write it up and down. 1 1/4 plus 2 2/4.
1 is 1 and 2/4.
Oh yeah. See, it looks like already used. Make that nice and crossed out there. What is 1/4 plus 2/4, Cameron? 1/4 plus 2/4 is 3/4. And then adding the two whole numbers together, 1 plus 1 is, Kaylin? 2 plus 1 3/4. This math stuff sure is easy, don't you think?